This episode is brought to you by ElevateOS, the only all-in-one community operating system. ElevateOS transforms property management, combining resident engagement, reservations, rent payments, maintenance, and concierge services into a single super app. It also uniquely integrates access control, intercoms, package lockers, and thermostats, eliminating app fatigue and redefining modern apartment living. Visit elevateos.com/MMN for a free demo and see how they can help you level up your operations. Welcome to another episode of the Multifamily Collective. I am doing a series of videos based on this leadership book. It's called Old-Fashioned Leadership. It's written by Britton Douglas and David Woods. And one of the things that they talked about in one of the lessons in the book was the fatigue that is being experienced by senior leaders and mid-level leaders, and even in our industry, property managers in our industry. There is a high level of fatigue. And they've narrowed down the high level of fatigue to several factors. And that's what I'm posting about, is the factors that are driving the fatigue that is happening, let's say broadly in industry, but I think there is a correlation here to the multifamily industry. So one of the things we will talk about today, or the thing we are talking about today, is that team member that has an abundance of venting. They vent often and on a regular basis with regard to anything that's happening in the organization. So everything presents to them as friction or frustration in the business, and they just talk about it ad nauseum. There's always something innately wrong with everything that the organization is doing. Every system, discipline, process, and routine in the organization is always subject to the venting of this particular individual in your company. You may know that person. You may be that person. The negative venting of feelings thereby causes a drag on your organization. It's the analogy that I use. It's like trying to walk down a beach with a 50-pound weight tied around your ankle. So you're already laboring to get through the sand, which is the day-to-day business of business. But now you have a 50-pound weight. I'm just imagining this shackle that goes around your ankle, the chain, and a big ball on the end of that weighs 50 pounds, and you're trying to drag that thing. Or if it's a modern day contemporary, you have a 25-pound ankle weight around one foot and a 25-pound ankle weight around the other, and you're trying to walk down the beach. And you're pulling that. Another analogy might be that you have a string in front of you and you're trying to push the string in a straight and narrow path, but the string isn't rigid enough for you to actually push it, so you hereby can't do it. This person who vents regularly and often about anything and everything related to your process systems and disciplines and routines is that drag. It is your inability to push a string. It's a fruitless exercise. Thereby it impacts your business. The alternative, let's just juxtaposition for a second. The alternative is that you coach, mentor, teach, train that individual. You sit them down and you try to understand. You say something like, hey, the situation that as I see it is that you have something to say about every discipline, process, system, and routine in our organization. The impact of that is that you really drag down the people around you. You really set a negative sort of bias in our culture. And give them specific examples. You can't just say that without giving them specific examples about the things that they say. And then just point blank, ask them, are you happy here? Can you be happy here? And if so, how do we coach and mentor and teach and train you so that you are happy here? Obviously, within the confines of the business, you can't just accommodate everybody's little wish and whim about your organization. But you can demonstrate that you care by sitting down and listening. And you can demonstrate that you actually hear what they say when you do implement some of the things that they might suggest that would make them happy. And you tell them without any cloudiness or ambiguity that there are things that you just can't do and you won't do. There are trade-offs that team member is going out to make because there are just things that you can't do more broadly to make that person happy. And then thereby, you might have more productivity out of that particular individual. You might have less of that venting, but you certainly could get some benefits out of that. But as we said yesterday, or in a prior post, sometimes if you can't change people, you have to change people. And if that individual is just innately like that, they probably are very good people, but they probably don't belong in your organization. And you have to, if you can't coach them up, you have to coach them out. You have to exit them from the organization because of all the downstream impact, all the downstream effects that person's, let's call it what it is, attitude has on the company. That's it. Take care. We'll talk to you again soon.